Welcome back to 818 Custom Garage. Is this really part 4? Oh my goodness. So, part 4, mini infraction drag truck. If you can see, we got a few things sitting here to try to go get some power, stop the cogging, get the whole truck lined out. So we got a lot in this video. I know I talk a lot, so I'm gonna get right to it right now. So if you see it here, that's a Max 6. We've got this Kill Mode RC cap pack. Never used their cap packs. I was like, you always use the Philip Jolly Ripple Killers, which are amazing. But I've heard really good stuff about the Kill Mode ones too. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna try it. I always like trying new things, see what works. So, and if you remember, we made that awesome little adapter plate for our 150 amp Spectrum ESC. We now are going to use, I made another one. It's a little bit longer, as you see, to go work with the Max 6. And did the back adapter piece. Now what I did was I actually just drilled holes here because I'm gonna screw this on. I had to slot this hole because I totally missed that one. I got everything else right and somehow I totally missed that one. But I drilled big holes here. I was initially thinking, oh, I'll drill a hole, countersink it, and use a countersunk screw. But I decided I'll just use a standard, button head screw, and it'll sit down inside that hole. That way we can.
What's a standard?
A standard? What's a standard?
Yeah.
Standard. Let's see. I got one over here. Standard.
That's a weird thing.
Standard button head. Okay. So that head is basically about the same depth as that hole. So that way when it sits down on here, it'll be captured underneath there. The other one will have nuts, or we'll just go through. And then I'm thinking about putting, if you can see, the wires kind of touch here at the end. So I'm thinking I might put a piece of thin foam here on the corner. Just, hey, even with on-road cars and stuff like that, things vibrate and move around, and I don't want them to chafe on there. Now I've got this all deburred and it's smooth and all that other stuff and chamfered, but just in case. So as you can see, I'm just using a spare piece, some scrap, but it works. So we are going to get that ESC in, probably change the bullets to 6.5s on the motor, and we'll do some nice wires. Probably, I think I'm going to run, this stuff's all 10 gauge. I think I'm going to run 8 gauge on the wires for the motor. Then hook up, we'll get this soldered on, get this all set up, single 4S. And I think I'm going to put a 1 tooth bigger pinion in here. And then we have to figure out shocks. We got to figure out the shocks. Bottoms out, well, it's not low enough in the front. We know we got that thing got airborne last time. So we've got to figure out how to go lower the front. Cause like, if you look, I've got all, the adjustment on the shock is all the way up, right? So one other thing I want to do is I want to be able to tension down the spring, get the spring tighter too. So I am going to, I think I got an idea of how to go in internally, limit the shock length, very similar to what I've done on like our Limitless, our other Infraction, to lower the front. And then same with the back, I've got this thing all the way tensioned down, but I still got a bunch of movement. I don't want it to squat so much, because when it squats in the back, it lifts the front, and then we get all that air underneath and it goes airborne. So, have some ideas there. So we'll show you that. So we are going to work on getting this ESC mounted up and all wired in and motor hooked up. And then we're gonna swap over to the shocks, get that all lined out. And then we're gonna go for some more test hits and see what we can actually do with this thing. So these are the medium hards. I think I'll probably start on those. I have some softs over there too on the Limitless. I have a couple more sets of softs, so we may end up throwing a set of softs on here too. So, but the medium hards I think are really good for all around fun. They hook really good still. They wear really well. So we're gonna set that up. So stay tuned. Let's get this power set up. No more cogging. No more cogging, please. All right, so we've got a bunch of wiring done. So did the cat pack, shorten the wires up. I did EC5, right? These are EC5. That way I can remove it. The plan is it'll be, you know, here I'm gonna do some, probably some dual lock right there. That way if we ever need to pop it out, we can pop it out. Oh, no. Then, we've got everything all mounted up, ESC wise. I did the screws. I also did the double stick tape. We've got, you know, our battery connector. We've got the connector for the cap pack on here. So we are good to go. And you've seen me do it a lot of times. I make a little mounting plate for the switch. So this one on the Max 6, these little screws, when you take the old ones out, and if you do a plate similar to this, pretty thin, this is stainless. These are M2 by 10 millimeter. Now, if you go thicker plate, you might need a 12 millimeter long, but M2 seems to be perfect, not 2.5, M2. So seems to fit up in there perfect. I also put a little super glue on there too, just to make sure it all sticks back together. But actually it screws in there pretty firm. Shouldn't need that, but I don't know, I get a little crazy. And then got my little screw hole, so that'll mount directly to the stock screw hole mount. We got our fan wiring set up. We got a fan back in. We've got our motor back in with a 24 tooth pinion. Had a 22, and I'll show you. So gave us a little bit extra room, you know, down here, so it's not anywhere close to that anymore. And then still have room with the fan. I trimmed this plastic piece just a little bit, so we've got a good amount of space here to, if we decide to go bigger pinion, it can still move over. So because honestly, with this setup with the 0.8 mod, 26 is about almost as big as you can go, or else you can't get to the two screws to tighten them down. I don't know, I've heard people putting on bigger, but I'm assuming they're taking the pinion off, like setting it up with the pinion kind of on, getting them close, pulling the pinion off, tightening them down, then throwing the pinion back on. That's the only other thing I can think you could do. So really happy with this. One other thing too was, you know, had to make the motor wires. We got the 6 millimeter bullets on here now. Got the corresponding 6 mil bullets on the other end. We went with 8 gauge castle wire, and then where they're gonna plug into the ESC, I set them up as a 90, because when I initially kind of had it mocked up on here, like when they were straight, they come up and like they stick up pretty high if they were straight and the body was hitting. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna 90 them. And I think that comes out a lot cleaner. It'll keep it nice and low profile. And like I said, they're probably a little bit longer than I want them to be, but 8 gauge castle wire instead of going 10 gauge. We got the cap pack, which should be pretty good. So the only way I really know how to get all this stuff in here is to just go 3, 2, 1, ready. Ah, fail. Epic fail, epic. Man, so bummed. So bummed. So you can see, you know, I had it all wired up, installed it, went to go calibrate it. I always do that off camera because I'm like, I'm not gonna bore you trying to show you calibrating it real quick. And it doesn't work. This Max 6 is no bueno. Very bad. No good. You would hit the throttle and go click, 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 and it was like, it was horrible. And I was like, man, could it be the gearing? I mean, how could a Max 6 not control all of this? So I actually swapped back to 2050 gearing, which is stock. I put the stock slipper clutch back in, stock pinion with this motor. Same result. No cap pack, you know, switched a bunch of things around just to make sure and validate everything. And I was like, screw it. I've got this Mamba Monster MMX 8S. Threw that on it just to test it. Works fine. Everything works good. So it's getting the Mamba. It's on that plate, double sticked on there. Those wires, I decided, hey, I'm here. I'm just going to shorten the wires up too. Got it all ready for the cat pack. So we are going to do this again. Oh, one other thing. I think I'm going to do this because I've had it sitting for a while. They say Perfect Pass. Perfect Pass. You know, it's their adjustable, you know, throttle ramp. Basically, you know, a lot of like the new Radio Link remote that I have over there does all that. So I initially had gotten it for a couple of, you know, another build, and I was like, started using the Radio Link, and you can set it all up in the remote to ramp in your throttle. This, you know, I'm using the standard Spectrum stuff, mainly because if I take the Limitless out over there, or if I take the Infraction over here, those are on the Radio Link, and I want like the boys and Grace to be able to maybe run this thing while I'm running the other two. So that was the reason for staying with the stock, the original, you know, DX3 and Spectrum receiver. So what we're gonna do, I think I'm gonna try the Perfect Pass on this thing with this whole setup. See if that'll, because I think I think it'll help if I can adjust the ramp just a little bit, to give it a little bit of traction control right in the beginning, and go from there. So let's try this one more time. 3, 2, 1, ready? Bang! Check it out. I think it came out pretty clean. Mounted the Perfect Pass just right here. I know, so everybody knows, everybody should, these are not waterproof. So, you know, if you're gonna put in something where you're gonna see water and stuff, you gotta put it inside the receiver box. This thing, heck, I don't like driving any of my RC cars in water. I don't like getting them wet, rusty. It's just not my thing. It causes a lot of problems later on from so many of the RC cars that I've worked on and fixed throughout the years for people and everything else. Water is the devil, and so is mud. Water and mud. But this thing's road car, drag car, you know, it's not going to see any water. So mounted right there, I think it's clean. You know, I had shortened the wire for the Castle to the receiver anyways, and I shortened this wire, so it's all nice and clean. Got the cat pack all wired in. Yeah, wires all nice and short, low profile, nice and clean. Feel like it came out really, really good. Got the fan in there, everything's wired working. So one thing too, the only thing I'm missing is you know, Practical Proto or PPS makes like these nice aluminum switch mounts. M2C makes carbon ones, and then you can get it from Power Hobby. They totally ripped off the PPS mount anyways. It's identical, it's aluminum. So I don't have any mounts right now. I ordered one up, so that way the little switch will be there, so it'll be clean. That's the only thing left, but other than that, all the wiring came out clean. I think the fit and finish, get up. I think the fit and finish came out good. You know, the wires are, they probably could have been a little bit short, but not much. You know, there's not a whole lot of, you know, you can bend it a little bit, but you know, the connectors are big because these are 6 mil connectors. These are 6.5. It's all big stuff. Got the fan, like I said, I got the fan all mounted in there. We do have the 47 spur and the 24 pinion. So that's what's in there. It's super tight there, but there's more clearance there. And man, I think we're good to go. Next up, we got to figure out what to do with these shocks. We got to get the front's really soft, super soft in the front, and then we need to get this thing way lower. So I feel like the height in the back, I feel like is really good. You know, and I got it tensioned down all the way, but I have some fuel tubing here. It's like thicker stuff, But what I think I'm gonna do is pop the rears off and put fuel tubing on the shaft. So what I'll do is I'll show you one of like the front and the rear. I think the front, we're gonna pull it off, disassemble it, and just like what I've done with like the Limitless and the Infraction, I get, you know, some black plastic nylon spacers and I'll put it inside, and that'll limit the down travel. So in essence, it'll lower the car. So that way we don't touch the spring, because I want to be able to, you know, shorten the shaft, lower the car, and then crank down on the springs to get more tension to increase the spring rate. I mean, you could always change springs and all that other stuff, but I feel like I could do it with stuff that I have here and not have to do anything. I know people have put like, you know, they've just locked out the rear with basically turnbuckles and stuff. But I think that's too stiff. I want to have a little bit of, I want to be able to weight transfer a little bit out of it. I want to see it do it. So, and I want adjustability. I mean, the turnbuckles you can only adjust height. That's it. You can't adjust. You could adjust side to side a little bit, but you're going to be relying completely on just chassis flexion and your control arms flexing. So I want to actually rely on suspension. So, all right, next up, shocks. Let's see if we can get it to go. And then once we're all done, I'll show you this thing's nice and smooth. No more cogging. I can already tell. I got a nice CNHL 8000 for it, 120C. So we'll slap that thing in there. Man, we'll be running. We got this Kill Mode RC cap pack. So far, I mean, no issues with it. It fits good. It's basically the same size as the Ripple Killer. I don't think you can go wrong. So they're well known. Same with the Ripple Killer as well. So I think it'll be good. And I made it modular so we can pull it all apart. So really, really happy. This thing's really easy to work on now. I mean, it's just like kind of stock. You know, you pop the screws out and undo wires, and all you need to work on it's really easy. So the only extra piece is the center brace to pop the rear out and fold it forward. So really, really happy. Okay, shocks. Let's talk. All right, it's shock time. So I got the rear shocks off of this thing. Just wanted to show you how I'm gonna do this. So your lower cartridge, so this is the top of the shock, right? This whole cartridge has the seals and everything in it, right? And the shock shaft, bang. So this goes up through, you got your piston on there and then your nut. And what I'm doing is, let's see, cut a piece of fuel tube, the same length as like the exposed shaft. And it slides up inside of there, recesses up in there a little bit too. So it's gonna be a little tough to get maybe the tool back in there to tighten this, but I think I can do it. So, you know, that's your tool, has multiple different you know, deals to tighten these up, because I think these are this is 4S, and I think, or that's 3S, that's 4S. So let me show you, I'll get this assembled real quick and then I'll show it to you. Bam! Check that out. So that's the assembled setup. You just got your fuel tube, the length of that shaft. Put it around the shaft, slide it up, tighten the nut back down. We should be good. Now I'm gonna throw a little of the Protec O-ring grease on this O-ring, fill this thing up with some shock oil, tighten it back up on there, throw it all back together and throw it back in the car. That'll take care of the rear, and then we'll go to the front next. Ooh, oh no, it's a snake! It's a snake!
It's only wooden.
Oh, thank gosh, I was scared there for a minute. Look at this guy, he's like,
Daddy,
wanting
I
to
want to turn the lights on.
You want to turn the lights on Gravedigger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, look.
What?
I can't find, like, you know how it has this white thing?
What thingy?
This black thing?
Yeah, it's on there. It's plugged in.
It is?
It's plugged into the ESC. I set that body up so we could just switch it back and forth, remember?
Wait, so the lights should be on, right?
Well, when you plug a battery in, yeah.
Do you have a battery for this?
Not right now. We'll get there. We got to get back. We got to fix these shocks. All right. So next up, front shocks. Front shock time. So same process. You know, pull the whole cartridge out, and I put it in this upside down so we don't lose any fluid. Looks a little low. I'll probably add a little bit to it, but let me see if I can. If you see, that's the piston, this top. Normally that piston sits down at the bottom. There are two spacers in there. They're like a black plastic nylon washer. Now if you look here, got a whole bunch, right? These are thick ones that I've used on like the Limitless and the Infraction and stuff. These are a little big. These are 832 Dubros. These work on like the Limitless and Infraction shocks. I feel like the hole is too big for this shock. So I had these other ones, and I don't know, these might be like a 632, you know, ish. Nothing crazy. I got a whole bunch of them. I've used them on other things, and I don't think I've ever used them on shocks before. I use these ones a lot as like spacers for like servos. Like you need to space it up a little bit off the mount. Pretty sure that's the one I use, because that's about a little bit bigger than 3 mil hole. So yeah, you can just get them. I go to like Ace Hardware, do it yourself, DIY center, you know, they have these usually. Just find one that you know, measure the shaft. I think it's a 3 or 4 mil shaft, and it's going to be kind of a guessing game. I'm doing 2. It may end up being too low, and I might have to go in there and pull one of the spacers out, but I'm going to go big and see. I have a feeling this might be about right, 2 spacers in there, because it was pretty high. So, and then if I can get the ride height set there and set it pretty low, then I can crank down on the spring and have a lot of tension in there. And if I need to, I can always throw you know, a short piece of you know, if it's still going up into the shock, you know, if there's not enough tension there, I can always throw a little piece of fuel tubing on there too. But I want it to, you know, want the truck to weight transfer in the front a little bit. You know, I don't want it to, not a lot, I'm exaggerating there, but I want it to weight transfer a little bit to the back tires and plant the back too. So we'll see how this does. So I'll try this out. I'm gonna slap this thing back in together. I'll do the other one. We'll put it on the truck, see how it sits, put a battery in it, load it, and see how we sit. So let's put this one back in. It's real simple. All you do is take that nut off, pull the piston off, throw your spacers in, throw it back together, and then screw it all back together. So, all right, let's see how it sits. So welcome back. This thing looks sick. I'm really happy with how this has come out. So let's get you a little bit of a closer view. We've got all the shocks all dialed in. Well, I think we have them dialed in, but we got everything modded, set up. We'll show you. So if you look, man, that is static, just sitting there. You can see that back tire sitting down a lot lower than the front. That front's sitting there tucked up, so that's 2 shims, right? 2 shims. I think, I seriously think we could probably do 1 more shim in there, because I've still got a good amount of space in the front. So, and if you look, we'll put it down. Let's put it down. Let's see what it looks on the table. So you can see it on the table. We got a nice rake in there. Keep the back up. Try to get the front end down. You know, but there's still got some gap there. This is, you know, so there's a front splitter on there right now. It probably won't stay on there for right now because it is super nice. It's actually a scorched carbon front splitter. And since I am testing and don't know how this thing is totally gonna react yet, I'm gonna pull it off. But I think I'm going to make one out of aluminum for now that I can go just trash and beat that thing up first. And then once I got things where I'm a little bit happier with this thing, then we'll put the carbon one back on there. But yeah, I mean, you can see it's tucked up there pretty good. I did trim out the fender wells a little bit. You know, they came out here a little bit more around, so trim back and through there because I want to keep the back and all this section, try to keep as much of the dirt coming out. So I think that helps. It gives it a little bit more, you know, this thing's fairly stiff in the front now because I was able to, let's see if I can actually see it. You can actually kind of see, you know, I was able to crank down the spacers on, let's see if we can get it from the front. There you go. I was able to crank down the springs so I can get all that tension in there, which I think is going to help that. So we'll limit the amount that it can actually dive, but also let's see, you know, we'll see how it does. And then same with the rear. We've got our fuel tubing in there. We got those cranked down as well. Let's see if you can see in there. Yeah, you can see there. Tent is all cranked down in there. So I mean, there's movement, you know, but it's hard. It's really hard. I'm hitting it pretty hard. So it's basically just, yeah, you got the spring tensioned all the way down, and you got the fuel tubing. So I think we're set up to where now we gotta go make some test hits. So let's go see how we can go make a few test hits. Hopefully all these changes helped. And what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna turn the power down to 75 or even 50% because you know, we're just using the regular controller. So that's one of the things I started with the Limitless, was I started turning the power down, really watched what it was doing, and then started making suspension adjustments, and then started increasing power. So I think we're going to do the same thing on this. We'll turn the power down a little bit and see how it does, and see if we need to make any suspension adjustments anywhere, and then we can start to turn the power back up. So time for some test hits. All right, so we got the little mini infraction. We're gonna try some test hits. I just heated up the tires pretty good, and so let's go. I'll put you down on the tripod. Let's see what it does. I've got the perfect pass on there, really lightly adjusted. I don't know, I may end up turning it, the dial back off. I just want to see, it's up a little bit. Let's see what it does. And then I may turn it to 0 and see if it can actually take the hit too. So let's go. We got you down. It's nice and low in the front, way lower than it was. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So I didn't touch the steering at all. So the gyro, you know, got a little squirrel, you know, the gyro did its job. But it launched good. Feel like having the front lower is helping. The stiffer rear shock is helping. So let's do one more. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh. That I think was my fault, because I think I overcorrected a little bit. So we're just doing some initial hits, because we may end up needing to adjust the shocks a little bit too. Let's try it one more time. 3, 2, 1, go. That was nice. If I don't even touch the steering wheel, the thing goes straight as an arrow. That's a pretty good hit. I mean, this is nothing crazy. It's 4S. Like, you can put a little bit more gear in it, I think. Now, I think we can put some more gear in it. I am on 100%. Let's try one more. 3, 2, 1, go! That is a sweet little hit, man. So I'm happy with that. happy with that. Those, I think getting the front lower, front splitters, hopefully getting a little bit of downforce on the front too. Stiffening up the rear shock, I think, is helping. So I think having the perfect pass on there is helping. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it cool back down just a little bit. I'm gonna turn the perfect pass back to 0. And let's see if this thing can take the hit. Because you never know, then we might start putting some more gear in here and seeing how it does. So let's go inside, let it cool down, and we'll go make that a quick adjustment. All right, we adjusted the perfect pass down to 0 and charged up the battery, got everything cool. Man, the motor was smoking hot. It was like 185, so I definitely can't beat on it forever. So not with this gearing. So let's see, maybe on 3S you could have a good time and it'd still be fast. So let's go take this thing out. We'll get some heat in the tires and then see how she does. All right, so we got some heat in the tires. I let it sit for a little bit just to let the fans run and cool. So let's get this thing lined up. So we got this thing on perfect pass to 0. It's on 100%. Let's see if it gets way out of control. Because I feel like I had the perfect pass set a little bit more than I thought I did. So let's see how it does. Holy moly. Okay, so that didn't go as planned. Let's see how this one goes. Okay. It just annihilated the tires. Oh, what just happened? Oh no. What just happened there? Is that the cat pack? Oh crap, it hit a bump over there, got airborne. It's okay, it's still running. But yeah, my cat pack came loose, flew out of the truck. Oh man. Hopefully it's okay. It's a really nice pack too. Let's okay. I think we're gonna go adjust the perfect pass just a little bit. And let's go see how that does. Yeah, because it is definitely part of the body's jacked up. Okay, let's go see what the damage is. Man, it just smoking the tires so hard. All right, I'll put you down and let's go see what things look like. Okay, well, it looks like we're okay. My dual lock had like moved around and stuff. The perfect pass had popped. I'm hoping it's okay. So we'll see how that does. We'll hook everything back up. I'm gonna clean this really good. Put a new piece of dual lock on the other side, and then we'll try to go one more again. All right. Just did a quick little like burnout. This thing set up. All right, let's see, I adjusted the perfect pass down a little bit up. It's super sensitive from what I can tell, which is cool. So we got that, and we got everything else set up. So let's go, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I barely touched the wheel. I almost feel like almost feel like I just let the gyro do its thing. See what happens. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Man, I need to turn the brakes up for sure. That was good though. That was nice and straight. Let's try one more. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, man. The brakes are just like non-existent. Now I'm trying to get a pretty good full long pull because I want to see how it works. We're going to do one more hit because I'm sure it's on. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And I have been on the brakes for a little bit. Man, definitely need to turn the brakes up. Okay. Those are pretty straight hits. They look pretty quick. I mean, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Yeah, but those are better. I'm happy with that. Maybe I could turn the perfect pass, I mean, down just barely. So we're gonna let this thing cool back down. I'm gonna check the battery, check the truck over, and then maybe I'll turn the perfect pass down just like, I mean, it's like you move it like the width of a hair. It's crazy, and it makes an adjustment. So let's try that, and because it feels like it's going straight once it gets hooked up. It's just when it gets too much wheel speed, it's all over the place. So, all right, let's go try that and bring it back. All right, so adjusted the perfect pass just a little bit. I forgot I'm an idiot because this is a DX3 and it has the brake rate on here. I had to turn down kind of far, so I turned it back up. So I'm gonna do that first, check the brakes seem okay. I did a quick little burnout. So we're gonna put you back down. Test, 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 right? It's all about the test too. Got you down. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. It's a little all over the place, but wasn't bad. Wasn't bad at all. Let's see if we can turn the brakes up a little bit more. All right, 3, 2, 1. Definitely is a little more squirrely. It hits and then the power comes on. Let's see if we can try this one more time. 3, 2, 1, go. Not bad, not bad, not bad. What I did is I adjusted the ABC a little bit. I'll go back down just a tiny bit. All right, let's try one more time. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, a little cog there. Oh, it's probably getting hot. Let's do one more hit, see if it does that cog again. Obviously the ESC's fan is on. I still think I need to turn the brakes up in the ESC now. And I think this thing is hot, but that was a good little hit. So that was a good little hit. That last one. Felt that was Let's I'm gonna take it in, See what the temperature is on the motor. It's starting to get a little bit warmer outside. So let's check the temps real quick. If I can get the clip off. There we go. So motor, ooh yeah, really hot, and that's probably why it was unhappy. So, okay. So let's, we're gonna let it cool down. I always let it run, let the ESC fan, once the ESC fan turns off, I'll shut it down and then sit in my chair with the fan, let it blow on there and cool the rest of it down. So we'll give it a good cool down. Look over the rest of the car one more time, make sure everything looks okay. And we might, I'll turn the brakes up in the ESC, and I might adjust the perfect pass, just a sliver, just to, because it's like it gets out there and the power pours on and it gets a little squirrely and then it gets okay. So if we could get it to where it gets on, and if it drifts a little bit, I'm okay with that. But as long as because those big wags is cutting time. So all right, we're gonna try that, make a few adjustments, come back. Man, so these will probably be the last test hits of this video because it's getting way too long. I really wanted to show you guys all the things that you got to do go do some of this stuff, what I'm doing. If you got any feedback, I'm always open. I feel like the changes we've made have helped. That front end looks nice and low. As you come down here, looks good. I mean, it could go maybe a little bit lower, but not too much low. We got the rake in it that we want. So let's make a couple hits. Just heated up the tires real quick. So put you down. All right, here we go. Whoa. Okay, let's try that one more time. Oh, just like cut out. That was weird. That was weird. It cut out like midway. I don't know if it hit a bump, it didn't like it, but let's try that one more time. There we go. Brakes are better. Definitely don't like the bumps down there. We're gonna try to line it up over here. Let's see if we can get a different shot of it this way. All right, let's try this one more time. 3, 2, 1, go! That was nice. That was nice. So I'm sure it's hot. That was good. I was happy with that. I feel like with that setting on the perfect pass, it lets it get going. I almost feel like we could put a little bit bigger pinion on it. I feel like we could do a bigger pinion because of it. Once it gets out there, it's totally hooked up. So, and you got to remember, these are medium hards. So I could always go to a soft. I could always go to, I could always go to like a GRP, or I mean a foam, I guess, right? But man, I'm really happy. I mean, you can see how this thing sits static. You know, it's really good. I think I'm definitely happy with the suspension. It's going straight. So I don't know, maybe the next step is a little bit bigger pinion. Maybe we try foams. I don't know. Give me your thoughts. I really want to know. Give me all your feedback. I'm having fun with this little car. It's fun. I mean, it's quick. So I think now that we got things kind of lined out a little bit better, maybe we can. I'll put the GNS on there, and we can see what it's kind of doing. Maybe get a little bit better spot to run because there's those bumps down there. But comment, like, subscribe. Give me feedback. Tell me what you guys think on this thing. And I love interacting with everybody. So really appreciate all the support. We'll catch you on the next one.